Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to another interesting episode of your Sunday Spice Conversation with the Love Crusader. You can see I'm grinning from my lips to ear, very, very excited about this evening because we have powerful people in the house. And this evening conversation is going to be very, very interesting. Very super interesting. You don't want to miss it. Please like our page, share the link, tell your friends about this. I always say you don't know, knowledge is power. You don't know. You could be saving someone just by sharing knowledge with them. So these conversations, one or two things can help someone. Please share the links, join us via YouTube, join us via LinkedIn, and via Facebook. We started a topic last week, love and boundaries. And today we are going to the part two of the topic. Before we jump into the topic, let me introduce my guest. I will start with the unknown to the known because on this platform, I have my two regulars here that I believe if you have been following us, you will know them. But I also have a very special one here today who is coming for the first time and all the way from Boston, Massachusetts, in the United States of America. Favor Anoke Samuel is joining us. Favor Anoke Samuel is a mother, a wife, a sister. She's also, if I'm very correct, a psychiatry nurse or
And
something.
healthcare administrator.
She's a healthcare administrator. Okay, I know it's hard to do with healthcare, what she's doing. And she's here today. We're going to talk about love and boundaries. And for those who do not know, she's my sister in love. As we say now, we don't say in law. There's no law here. We are sisters in love. She's also my baby. I can say it very proudly. She's my baby. She got married from my house, you know, to one very, very strong man that carried her all the way to the United States. I'm excited to have you here, Favor. Just say hello to the people.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be seen and to be a part of this wonderful show. So I'm looking forward to having this great conversation and learning from each other. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Straight to Pharmacist City Lion, our regular, my mama. Hey, 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 hey. She was here last week. Last week we broke the record. We broke the blueprint. Say hello to the people from my City Lion.
Hi, people. Good evening or good morning or good afternoon. We're going to be watching this from. It's so good to be here once again. I'm looking forward to this conversation. Really.
I know. I am too. All right. And the other person also needs no introduction. Sake, the Otumba, the Oluwakayode himself. My friend, I always telling people he's my friend ordained of God. The only friend that was introduced to me by God himself. Say, this is your friend. He has moved from friend. You know how the Bible says there's a friend that stays closer than a brother, and he's now a brother. Welcome to the platform again, Sake. God bless you. Say hello to the people.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here, and thank you for inviting me once again. And
Okay, so
I hope
we
today
are
will be good.
it will be good and interesting because you're all here. You all know that Titilayo is a pharmacist. I always tell you she's a pharmacist. She's also the CEO of True Love Expression. So she has something that is connected to men fences, and that's why we have that kin spirit together. Sakayode is a computer guru. He's Cisco certified. He's plenty certified. I can't tell you, but when it comes to computer data, internet, how do they call anything that has to do with all that? Sake is your man. So we have people here who are doing well. He's also a father to Arthur. Titilaya is also a mother. So we have people here who are doing well in every sphere of life, and that's what gives us the authority by the grace of God to come and be able to speak to us today. All right, let's jump into the topic so we can have enough time to talk about it. I don't want to rush it. I'm going to start with Titilayo because we started this conversation last week. She'll give us a bit of a definition, example, and recap of some of the things she said last week about love and boundaries before we.
Okay. I really can't remember where we stopped, but I know that we talked extensively about what boundaries are. We all gave our own interpretation of what boundaries are, and at the end of the day, we kind of came to the same point, and about how helpful boundaries can be. We talked about good boundaries and healthy boundaries and unhealthy boundaries. And just when the conversation was resting, we had to go. So
We talked about examples of boundaries. I'll still get Favor and Sake's definition because they were not here last week of what they think boundaries are as per what as it relates to relationship. But we tried to define it last week, and I believe we talked about limits. We talked about the yard definition. I can't forget. How can I forget the yard definition? He said we draw that line. He says this not your side, this not my side. That was the down to earth definition we got last week. So, okay, Favor, you want to give us your own definition? What do you think about your thoughts about boundary if you were to define, boundaries in relationship?
Yeah, sure. Um, so historically, for me, because I work I work in the healthcare sector, I define boundaries as creating limits, limits that guide our decision making or guide my decision making based on the expectations of others. I was looking at the book of Titus 2, verse 12, that talks about having the ability to say no to things that are ungodly, things that are worldly, things that are not in line with what God wants us to do in terms of having self control. I think the key word for me is self control and upright, living an upright life, because I believe that when we allow our desires to control us and it becomes unchecked, it will over time cause a lasting effect to those around us. So setting boundaries help us limit our desire to control and manipulate other people. Similarly, setting boundaries protect us from those who do not have self-control. So we're able to be centered and balanced in our relationship with those around us.
To I'm liking that because she keeps referring to self control. It is one major aspect of life that people don't talk about, and it relates to discipline. You know, to be able to live a disciplined life, to be able to control yourself, and it relates to everything. It's not just relationship, like you said, limits. What's my limit? You know, I can drink, but what's my alcohol limit? I can eat food, but what's my limit? Even food has limit. So even some good things have limit. Okay, let's come to Sake. What's your thoughts? Boundaries.
Okay. This is a very, very difficult topic, and it's difficult because you put in north and south into a sentence: love
That's
and
right.
boundaries.
Correct. Okay.
Now, I grew up setting a lot of boundaries. I have different boundaries for different set of people and for different set of relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Because I used to have a term or a say which is always kind of offensive to some people who are stupid. Mind my words. Like familiarity is a bastard
Mm.
because it is from when you're familiar with someone, that is where so much disrespect from foolish people come your way. You know, we just joking, and you look at me and say, "Ah, you're even a fool." From being joking, we're just joking. So how does being foolish and cracking a joke come in the same sentence. So if I let that slide, I know the day you get angry, it will be very easy to mount a lot of abuse on me. So the moment I'm joking with you, that was back in school, when kind of cracking jokes, and I can see that you're laughing and you're beating me, and you're like, you don't even have sense. I'll be like, oh, okay, thank you. It's time for you to go. And I have friends that tell me, you move from 0 to 100, like in a tick of an eye. Before you know it, you're already on 100. I said yes, because people tend to disrespect when you are very friendly with them. But it's very dangerous when you apply that to family.
Mm,
I'm a kind
mm,
of person that families, when they walk over me, I just smile and go.
mm,
So that is where the differences, the boundaries, and the love. Now, moving on to people having boundaries in their life and in their behaviors. When you create boundary in your behavior, it makes it difficult for people to approach you to certain things. People won't be able to be, they won't be free to kind of introduce you to an aspect in which they know you don't mess up with.
mm,
So they'll be like, oh, see that one, don't even go near.
mm,
It even saves you a lot of stress of saying no, because they don't even bring it, because they know it's a default no. It's kind of good, but at the same time, people see you to be an uptight person. So it depends on how you want to deal with it. So you
mm,
see, that was a very difficult topic. Looking at love and boundaries in the same sentence. Like there was a day I was talking to someone and they said, "You're always giving so much rules." I said, "Yes, because of people like you, you've noticed it. If you have not crossed those boundaries, you will not have noticed those rules." So those rules are there because of people like you that like to poke other people in the face. It's as simple as that. You don't see me go around doing that same thing to you because I know my boundary automatically.
mm,
So you see, that is where it comes into play. And I always tell people that's love as well. If I'm giving you a boundary of a particular approach to you, that means I'm saying I can accept it and I won't do it to you too. That's love. It's as simple as that. But
okay.
in
So,
marriages,
so
boundaries are very dangerous.
you're saying that the fact that I can even draw a line and limit what can happen in my relationship with you is love.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought that meant that I was proud and arrogant and maybe
Pe-
full of
pe-
myself.
People can give
Or
such. It's kind of my name. See those things just mentioned. It's kind of my name to some people.
yeah, that's kind of your name.
I'm used to it. I'm so much used to it. But at long run, most people that kind of say that initially, when they're in a circumstance and they see the reason why I drew such measures, they'll be like, oh, he was right all along. But I
Mm,
would never want to taste how a mistake looks like. I would like to see it from afar, not to taste it. Nah.
mm.
So that's my
Okay.
point of view.
Okay. Good one. Very good one. Um, it's beginning to bring us to the healthy and unhealthy boundaries we're talking about, because Sake just said something and it's true. For me as a person too, I think I've experienced that. I've suffered that with a lot of people who see me as too uptight. Someone has called me before a white blanket, meaning that I spoil the fun. I spoil the fun in things because I say, um, you can't go beyond this, or you can't do more than this, or you get what I'm trying to say. So let's try to help people. How do we draw a line between being proud and snobbish and actually setting boundaries? Let's start all over again from Titi to Favor and then back to Sake. Titi.
Okay. If you're um it can come across to people differently, but the most important thing is that you have a understanding of where you are coming from, because when you decide to put certain boundaries, nobody is there, you know you decide to put these boundaries for a reason. Nobody know, they may not really understand what it is you've gone through for you to decide that, okay, these are the boundaries I'm creating for myself. And like I said the last time, most we set these boundaries first for our own sanity, for so that we can have peace of mind, right? So they may not understand, but the most important thing is for you to have a good understanding. You know, this thing called pride is lack of understanding. For you to uh display pride, you don't have a better understanding. That's why, if you have an understanding that nothing is really yours, if you have an understanding that everything you have has been given to you, there's no need to be proud about anything. So set boundaries from a place of understanding. Once you fully understand, it doesn't really matter what anybody else is saying, really. You know if someone is disputing what you set for yourself, or they are trying to exceed that bounds, you know that this person lacks the understanding that you have. So it starts with you. Do you have a good understanding of the reason why you are setting these boundaries? Is it working for you? If it's working for you, everybody will be all right last.
That's one of my dad's most popular language. He always says it. Everybody will be all right, last, last. Hey, but what do you think?
So I want to approach it from the perspective of love and boundaries because they're both intertwined. So I see love as when we're selfless and purposeful. When someone loves you, that means they're very purposeful. It's an admiration that draws us to other people. So when we put our needs above our own and we show people a great deal of compassion and we're sensitive to the emotions and when they hurt, so as a result, when we set boundaries, it sets us free from societal expectations. Because we live in a culture where there's this high expectation of being a best friend, best daughter, best sister, best
Mm,
coworker,
mm,
best mother, best wife. However, we have to first of all love ourselves in order to love others,
mm.
because you cannot pour out from an empty cup. So
Exactly.
the key to love and boundaries is to clearly and concisely and effectively communicate our needs, first and foremost, our wants and our feelings to those around us, so that way there's clarity in the relationship. For instance, when my son comes up to me and he says, "Mom, you just yelled at me." He will say that to you. He's a 6-year-old. He said, "Mom, I don't, you raised your voice. I don't like you raising your voice at me." He's setting a boundary for me. When I talk to him using that tone of voice, I say, "Oh, honey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to." Then I apologize and retrace myself and say, "Okay, I'm sorry. Can we try it this way?" Or a child that comes up to you and says, "In the future, don't help me tie my shoes. I can do it on my own." They're setting a boundary for you. So boundaries can mean different things to different people. That's my understanding of how to set a boundary. For I can give you another example. There's a guy named, I'll call him John Smith. He's on my team and he always shows up late to meetings. Sometimes he doesn't call. He's a no call, no show. So as a result, yeah, a no call, no show. You don't know if he's coming or not. And he does this every time. And he knows 2 o'clock, the meeting starts. He comes in 30 minutes into the meeting. So that's someone disrespecting your boundaries. You've laid out what the relationship will be like, but he always will go against it. And that's where a disciplinary action comes into play, because you have to correct that behavior. So moving forward, there's an established relationship. The expectations are clear moving forward.
Yep. Yep. So I like one thing I have just picked from that now, and that is that we should clearly communicate our boundaries. Because remember, where there's no law, there's no offense. So if someone does not know your boundary, and this is very important for relationships, because if you start a relationship with anything goes, you can't start shifting posts in between the relationship. I think this is where many people used to have the problem. You should, from the onset, be able to say, this is what I can take, this is what I cannot take, this is what I would chew, this is what I cannot chew, this is what I can swallow, this is what I cannot swallow. Communicate it, because the other person is not a ghost. They cannot come and know what is inside your stomach if you keep quiet. But if you communicate it and then you've drawn the line, then when this person is beginning to go beyond the line, the example we gave last week is say on the streets from Nigeria, if you grew up in Nigeria, they will draw the line. They say, if they born you well, cross this line. Then when you cross the line, you're ready for a fight, and a fight is coming. So we have to communicate these boundaries very clearly. Sake, how do we make it clear that we're not being proud? This is not pride. This is not being snobbish. This is not me trying to look down on others. This is me saying, this is what I can take and this is what I cannot take. How do we differentiate that?
Thank you for the question. Um, Number one, I would like to address the words, popular words you've been using to talk down on the word boundaries, like being proud. Now, I don't think pride has anything to do with boundaries,
Okay.
because when you are proud, that means you are pleased with whatsoever you've achieved or whatsoever you are. There's like a sense of satisfaction of pleasing yourself and showing others that I'm so pleased with whatsoever I've achieved. That is pride, right? Okay, good. So now I don't think people using the word proud for me, because I'm giving you measures which makes my life easier, I don't think it goes the same way. I believe it's a way for them to try to intimidate who you are. It's a way for them to try to change who you are, or to change you from shifting your goalpost, as you said earlier on. Now, I could remember when I met my wife, we were gisting, and we spent a couple of time. We're like, this guy is so nice. This guy is chilling, he's lively, he's funny. And we got to the embassy first. We went to the Kenya embassy. We went to drop my parent there, and she saw a different me when some thoughts came around and people that tried to take advantage of the situation, thinking because my parents were old, they can come in and walk over us. Hey, this guy's from Jant, was from this place. They can. She was like, "This is a different you." I said, "Yes." Then we went to the airport again. I was about to fly, and we had all these normal Nigerian airport guys from immigration to
Mm,
custom,
mm,
and you saw a different me entirely, where I was so angry, like she could see the fire in my eyes, like, come on. She kept quiet. So after she spoke to me and I smiled at her, and okay, then I looked at the person and I continued being angry. Then they were like, how do you do it? I said, we walked past these guys, they intimidated the person in front of us, they extorted that person that is going. Do you think the next person they want to do things to will be us? But
mm,
after this, what did they do? She said they sent someone to follow us to the last point
mm,
to make sure our road was smooth. I said yes, because they know a boundary here. That these people don't mess with these people. So what actually she learned from there is the fact that people with the character in which they possess need a different scale of dealing with them. People are
mm,
dynamic. And you have to be dynamic in your rules and your measures. When you have measures for different people, you will save yourself a lot of headaches. You will save yourself a lot of unnecessary problems. Because before the problem come, the problem can even see that you are ready for it.
mm,
Like, oh, see this person? No, forget it. Next person. You understand? So it's not a matter of being proud, but it's a matter of you letting them know, please don't come in to hurt me. I have so much time to deal with your mess up if you bring it in here. Because
Okay.
I've noticed this world doesn't want anybody who is soft. It's as simple as that.
Okay. I want us to deal with the different types of boundaries one after the other as quickly as we can within this time, because we really need to be able to hit the nail on the head. Okay. We tried to talk about different types last week, and I'll bring them up and then we'll talk about them. One, physical boundary. And I think we've given a lot of examples of that to say, for me, some of my examples of physical boundaries will be, um you can't just wake up, pick a bag, and come to my house. Many people did not understand or don't understand this about me. I'm not saying don't visit me. Oh. I'm saying, because if you come, it's not like you might not get a place to sleep, but you might come and meet me at a point where I'm drinking Gary, and God knows that Gary is what you will drink with me if you did not tell me you're coming. Do you get what I'm trying to say? There are some, you can come to me at a time when I'm emotional, I'm busy, I'm not able to be a good hostess. I don't know whether you these are examples of some things that come up in relationship. Let's talk about them. Physical boundaries. What are some of the examples of physical boundaries that we can give? For some, I've heard a lady that have said, and I think I've even mentioned her here on this platform before. She was dating a guy and the guy slapped her, and that was the end of the relationship. We all thought they were good together. And I was one person that was pushing for them, like, why? What happened? Until she opened up, mama, and said, he slapped me. And if he has started slapping me now, I don't care what the level of provocation is. I'm not entering. So can we just quickly, let's just hit some examples of physical boundaries. We'll come to emotional boundaries, we'll come to sexual boundaries, we'll come to financial boundaries. Hopefully we can deal with all four before the day is over. So let's go again. Titi, Favor, and Sake. Physical boundaries, examples.
Okay, before I talk about physical boundaries, this example you gave of don't come to my house before without informing me first. And it's things like these that people see and say she's proud. She said, who does she think she is anyway? She feels so accomplished. So that's why somebody cannot even visit you. You know, I just thought to put that in so that we have a better understanding of this thing. So anyway, when it comes to relationship, I think we cannot overemphasize physical boundaries, especially in a love relationship. You have to set these things down. You know how they say plant a tree before you need shade, dig a well before you are thirsty. Because when we eventually fall in love, it's like we don't know to put these things there, or even when we are being told to put these things, our senses are just someplace else. So it's better for you to begin to put these physical boundaries. Then, and I think that of course your personality comes to play, the kind of temperament and all of that. But generally, when it comes to relationships, there are some general boundaries that you should put in place. For example, you are in a relationship with this person, and you have told him or her, you know, let's say, don't let me not even use don't come to my house. Say, if you've decided, okay, I've decided that no sex before marriage, you know, that's a boundary you're setting. And whoever it is with should be able to respect that boundary. In the event that you see they are beginning to overstep that boundary, then that should make you think twice. It's not even about the fact that they are wanting to sleep with you. It's not just that, it's the fact that you have set this boundary and they don't care to respect that boundary. That is the main thing. So it could be any boundary, any physical boundary you are setting for yourself. That boundary is not even the issue. It's the fact that they don't respect that boundary that is key in that relationship. So it's good. Most times people say, "Eh, how do I know he's the one? How do I know she's the one?" Set boundaries, which is good anyway. set boundaries, and when they don't respect, they don't have to agree with your boundaries. But when they don't respect that boundary, that's your clue right there, you know. So you don't have to experience all this. You don't need 10 years to be in a relationship with someone before you begin to. These are the little things that you pick up and say, she doesn't even respect. I've told her, if you need something, maybe physical, money, or anything, let me know ahead of time. I'll make preparation ahead of time for it. Don't just come and jump on me. We're going out together. You come with like 5 of your friends. Me and you agreed that we're going on a date, 5 p.m. Me and you. Next thing, number one comes in, number two comes. What is happening? Even if you are Dangote or you are Bill, you know. So those are the things that will begin to tell you, this see the kind of person I'm a person with. Oh, ordinary on a date, you have come with your family members. So what happens when we eventually get married? Our house is open for all. Anybody can just no peace again. So these are the clues. So beyond the yes, set physical boundaries, but let that be your clue. When they are not obeying or what they are not respecting those boundaries, you might need to think twice.
Lack of respect for your physical boundary can be a red flag, a marriage decision. Yeah, sorry. To say I'm doing or I'm not doing again. So you see, these boundaries can even help us make decisions in the relationship. That is what she has just said to us. Okay, yeah. Favor, you want to give us some examples?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Just to piggyback with what my sister just mentioned, we live in a culture, or I live in a culture where boundaries are quite important and is overemphasized for kids, for women, for men. There's a lot of movement going on where physical boundaries, you have to have them because here, I can give you examples. It's not allowed when you're talking to someone like a total stranger that someone might have a boundary, say, don't stand too close to me. I don't like hogs. Oh yeah. I've had a few
Imagine.
of that. I don't like hogs. Don't stand too close to me. Don't touch me when you're talking to me, because I come from a culture where we don't interpret it as anything physical touch. We're used to, oh, how are you doing, my dear? What's going on? But here,
Exactly. That's
yeah,
me. I'll get into trouble.
exactly. But here we live in a culture where you have to hold your hands, restrain yourself. On no account should you put your hands on anyone, except they welcome it for you to do it. So that's number one. And then, to also kind of reiterate what my sister mentioned when she talked about you're in a relationship or you're about to engage in a relationship, there has to be this mutual consent to say, oh, I'm drawing a line, no sex before marriage. That's the expectations, and the guidelines are there because one of the reasons why most relationships often fail over time is because we don't set the expectations at the beginning. People,
Exactly.
yeah, people come into relationship because you want to please the other person or gain affection or some form of likability. People will often oversell themselves at the beginning of a relationship. Then they fall short of those expectations as the relationship progresses. For instance,
Exactly.
we expect our partners to read our minds when it comes to love. There are too many unspoken expectations that result into boundary issues. So I believe that honesty and truthfulness at the start of a relationship will save a lot of relationships, heart and headaches down the road, by setting those healthy boundaries and saying, oh, no sex, or don't hold my hands in public, don't kiss me in public. I've met people who would not want their spouse to kiss them outside or even hold hands when they're outside. So
No
this
PDA.
right, right. So these are different aspects of boundaries that people bring into a relationship, but that's who they are. They want it private, and I believe that it should be respected. You know,
Hmm.
for me, on the other hand, I'm very expressive. I want to be showed. I feel comfortable showing love to my husband when we're outside having dinner or we're doing, outside on a date. But he doesn't feel comfortable, but I do. So it just depends. And I don't try to embarrass him. So I wouldn't do it. I can say, oh, give me some sugar. It's like, no, you're in public.
And that's the respect. That's the respect Titi was talking about. So
Correct.
if
Correct.
you know that your spouse don't like it,
Correct.
and you have already entered into the marriage, because this is not a matter of now, okay, I can't live with it, I'm going to get out.
Right.
You're
Right.
already you're already in it with 4 kids. You're not going
Right.
anywhere. Then
Exactly. So
please
I
keep your
respect it.
kisses to the bedroom. Keep your kisses to the bedroom. Respect that that is his feeling and that is what he likes. You
Correct.
understand?
Correct.
This is the major issue in relationships. People don't want to respect the boundary the other person has set. In fact, the boundary might not even make sense to you. It doesn't have to make sense to you, because now you are going to say, why would a man not want to kiss me in public? What is the problem? Is he ashamed of me? Some people can really take it very seriously. Is it that he's ashamed of me? So he doesn't want the world to, to know that we are in love, or But instead of taking it that way, you can take it as, okay, this is this man's boundary. This is what he likes. I respect it, and I stay within, my line. I'm still talking about that line that has been drawn. I stayed within that line for the sake of national peace, according to my sister. My sister will always say, for the sake of national peace. What is there? Kiss all the kids I want to kiss in the room. Hold him for 10 hours and be kissing him there. If he doesn't want to be kissed outside, we are the opposite in my house. If you leave my husband, he wants to be kissing you from the door to the street, and I'm like, kilo days too much now, I like a little of it, but woman sometimes let me use that. you know so kiss all the kiss you want to kiss inside. If this person doesn't like it, I like that example. It's a very, very good example. And what you mentioned about touching, even here, people get reported as having sexually harassed others because of something as simple as a touch. You're gisting and you're just laughing, and then you touch the person. No, 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 no. Some of those rules are there, even in workplaces. It's very, very strict like that. So you must know them. And okay, Sake, let's come to you quickly. I'm jumping. I hope we can really finish again today.
Before I start, I'll ask a question, a very simple question.
Okay.
How many of us are in this place where the moment someone obeys our boundaries, how do we feel?
You feel respected, I think. I think. I feel like, they love me, they respect me.
I didn't get the question. Sorry, please come again.
I said, as we're in this small gathering, right? How many of us here, when our boundaries are being respected, how do we feel?
I feel valued. I feel like you're hearing me. I feel very valued. Value is very imperative. It's very imperative to me. So I feel very valued.
Very, very good. I could have bet that at least 99.9% of people that have self-esteem understand what boundaries is. So if you understand it, I don't know the reason why you would like to infringe someone else's boundaries. It's as simple as that. Now, for relationships, for expectations, such boundaries determine on who the person is, what you want in return. There are some times that when people respect our boundaries, we go over heels for that such person. We'll be like, see this person? No, I have to be there for this person. Why? Because the person values you. You only respect the person you see around you, and you understand their boundaries. If you don't understand the boundaries, then you don't know that person. That is one thing. Then, secondly, you guys mentioned so many aspects of the boundaries and how it affect to someone calling you for coming to your place and stuff like that. If you surprise me by coming to my house, you will surprise yourself. It's as simple as that. Because what you will meet, you might not greet me the following morning. I don't talk to my neighbors. Apart from hello, hi, I'm off. And not because I'm that kind of person. I'm a very funny person. But one thing I've noticed is the fact that the easiest link to you are your neighbors.
Mm.
So the moment you mess up that relationship with your neighbors and boundaries are not be drawn, where you keep your family isn't safe.
Mm.
It's as simple as that. When people think of 1, 2, 3, I think of 1001, 1002. So before you say you are beating the gun, no, I'm not beating the gun. You sit down and look at the process. You will see one thing will lead to the other, and you find out that you've already screwed up 5 steps before. Thereby, just simple boundaries. I'm parking my car this side, you park your car that side. Let us respect it. When your friends come in, let them park there. Don't come and park my side. Why? Tomorrow, if friends comes in drunk, park on your side, causes trouble. Are you going to go fight your neighbor?
Mm-hmm.
And you are hurting because they're already infringing your privacy.
Exactly.
So you see, it's different. Then for wives and husbands, I believe boundaries are very good as well. But when those boundaries are broken, you have to let go.
Hmm.
It is a
Hmm.
rule to let go.
Okay.
Enough times my wife will be like, you've played this rule, but I've done this. You did not do anything, you just smiled. I said, I'm just smiling because what I want to do for you, if I do it, you will not like it. I will just smile and go. Why? Because he has broken the rule. She has broken the boundary. Do you want to kill
Mm.
her? No. You have to
Mm.
let it go. But trust me, next time she will watch her step because she knows he doesn't like this. He just cut me a slack the last time. You understand? But if
Mm.
you don't let her know the boundary, or she or he, either ways, and they keep poking you on that place, you get hot inside. After a while, you start throwing tantrums, stupid
Start
ones,
building resentment and bitterness.
and you're at fault.
Hmm.
What I will not do at the end of my relationship, I will not do from the beginning.
Hmm.
I don't build an expectation which I don't keep on, I don't know how to maintain. Let me use that word. So from day one, if you see me to be stupid, yes, I'm stupid. That's how we're gonna roll. If you see me to be this, yes, that's how it is. No problem. Let's move on. But I wouldn't do everything, break all my boundaries, all because I want to lure you into my house. That is one mistake a lot of men
Okay.
do.
So okay, help me with time. I have two questions I want us to deal with, and my time is flying.
All right, all right.
We're not going to be able to pick each of the boundaries like I intended before, but I
Okay.
think from what we have said, we've just talked about generally what some examples are, and Holy Spirit helping our people, he would expand it further. But now I want to ask a question. In marriage, is there sexual boundary? Do we have sexual boundary in marriage? You're already married. Do we have what I can do, what I cannot do, what you should do, what you should not do? I'll give you one very good example that I know causes a lot of problems is how many times should couples have sex? So every day, 3 times a week, 10 times in a day,
Are they in the
things
UK?
like that. How
I,
should
I
there be sexual boundary in relationships, in marriage,
First
I'm talking about
question.
marriage
Are
relationship?
they in the UK? Are they working? That should be the first question.
Oh
If they
my
are in
goodness,
Nigeria,
you're
no
finished.
problem. But if
You
they're in the
see, they
UK,
say
it's
you're
a
in
different
Nigeria, no
question.
problem.
Nah, it's a different question if they're in the UK. So let us pick the geographical region in this question.
Well,
How is it done in America? Favor, tell us. Oh my
oh
goodness.
Lord have mercy. To be quite honest with you, it
Yes.
depends. It depends on the couples because when you live abroad, we're very busy. Like everybody has different schedules. But like I always, my spouse and I, or my husband and I, believe in spontaneity. We believe in being spontaneous. We don't plan it. You never plan it. At least from my perspective, I don't like to plan it. We're very spontaneous. It starts from a gradual process of him cooking dinner, He comes home before I do. He makes dinner for the kids or makes lunch or something. It's all about appreciation and spontaneity. And it happens as many times as you want it to, because there has to be that relationship and the romance ahead of time. Even before you get home, you're thinking about each other from work, texting and checking in. And then, everything just takes its course over time. You don't have to plan it. So I believe that there shouldn't be set boundaries. That's my perspective. But I do believe in spontaneity. That's what I believe. I
Okay.
believe in being spontaneous with your spouse and just
The Nigerian
thinking
people,
of
how you
them,
for do
even
it?
when they're
Tell us.
not there. And just
Titi, tell us. Do we draw timetable? Is there a boundary?
Table, every time. Keep it going, keep it going. I'm just kidding, no. But seriously, just like I mentioned last week, when it comes to marriage, when we talk about boundaries, it's more complicated when it comes to marriage, because it's like you're in a marriage space and you're like, I'm your, you are mine, you are mine. Now, we now enter the marriage space and we're talking about boundaries. What are you talking about? So for in a marriage space, I think I'm much more boundary now translates to respect. I respect your wishes. I respect the fact that you are tired right now, you know. And I respect and appreciate the fact that you need this thing. You want it. So even if I'm tired right now, I'll give it to you because I know you want it. The other person respects and appreciates the fact that I want it so bad, but I know you are tired, right? And it can come later. So in the marriage space, boundaries translate pects. I understand and respect your wishes. You understand and respect, or you try to understand, because sometimes we don't understand it all. What my husband is saying or is wanting might not make sense to me, but I just respect it. I respect the fact that you desire. I put myself in that position. Imagine if I desire this thing so much. I'm like, okay, I'm tired, but let's go. Anyhow, let's go. So that's just it.
I'm gonna be interrupting us now because I really want us to get some things out. Me, forgive me, oh, you people have to tell me some things. I've heard of couples who, for example, the man is asking for anal sex. They are married. The man is asking for anal sex. And the woman is like, God forbid. I've never heard that one. It's not what, it's not natural. Let's put it that way. In fact, some people, ordinary styles, is not natural. If it's not missionary style, no other style is born again.
Made a good Baptist.
Okay, oh yeah, it's you. Tell me. He said they go with you. So okay, tell me. If,
um,
if one is in that kind of situation,
I
and
will
it
first start with understanding that you need to let some boundaries go. I will give one example. All the time I was at work and the letter came to my house and it was addressed to me. And my wife said, "Should I open it?" My first instinct was no, don't. And she was like, "Am I not your wife?" I said, "Oh, I've been single for so long. I thought I was the only one." Okay, open it and send the picture to me. You know, that's the first instinct. But on the second thought, you get my point. Second thought is she's right. But trust me, if a letter comes in, I'm not gonna open it. No matter what. Why? Because it's not in my nature to do such a thing. I'm the kind of person I mind my business like 100%. In short, 125%. I don't go outside what's not my business. You like some assault beside me. If I'm not invited into it, I don't. I look at you, oh, that's good. I move on. That saves me a lot of headache. But see, in a matter of emotions, a matter of sexual being, one thing I tell my wife is, I'm not having this sex for me, I'm having this sex for you. Are you satisfied? You should think in your brain, is my husband satisfied? So, in a case where both of us want to satisfy each other, then you'll be able to understand when this person is tired And when you mean tired, yes, you should know you are not kids, he's tired. You know how this person operates on a
Mm,
normal ground. So when
mm.
it comes in and is tired and you want something, you have to understand and see how you can meet up in the middle. So in the case of, okay, dude, you tired? Oh, I'm tired. You see, I've been working all day. This. You know what? Give me 20 minutes. Give me 1 hour. Let me rest. Let's work out something. But one
Mm-hmm.
thing is, both of you, every given time, must always try to meet yourself in the middle.
That's it.
Your no can never be your no. The
Mm.
moment your no is your no, that means you are back to the 1970 of marriage, where the husbands, it is nay and is nay for the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
But we
And then the
need to
woman,
understand
the woman is forever having headache. You know,
she's
they say
stomaching all the
it's,
headache,
it's
and
women
she's
that's always having headache. And those headache, what men have refused to unravel is that there's always something behind those
the
headaches.
headache is coming back to them in future because they will still have a way of bringing back that headache for something else.
Okay.
So you must learn to meet in the middle. That's all. Boundaries in marriages must be met in the middle.
Mm. So for those who say, I used to say when I was a young girl, oh, if a man slaps me, I'm out of the marriage. Anyways, I'm not going to tell you how many times they have slapped me and I forgave. And I'm still here because it's easier said outside
Than done.
of the relationship. But like Titi said, when you are now joined together, the lines of boundaries become thinner. And this is what we were trying to talk about when we were talking about secrets and individuality last week. So you still try to maintain your individuality, but then we don't keep secrets. That is why Sake can say to the wife, open the letter. No, Kukula Shiri, I don't have a secret. There's nothing I'm hiding. Some people can never do it. Some
Everybody knows my password. Even my niece and nephews know my password of my phone.
imagine that. Some men will never allow their wife know what is on their phone. Some women will never also know. They don't. I know a lady who said the husband worked up onto the point where he retired, and she never knew what he was earning. You know how long somebody works 30 waiting years in Nigeria. She never knew what the man was earning. That's how
Yes.
secretive. In fact, the day the man retired, she did not know. He have already retired. Can't tell him say he don't work enough, he don't retire. That's the kind of life some people live. Is that a marriage? No, no, because you're supposed to be one. You're supposed to be one. So final question now. If you have a spouse who is not communicating their boundaries, how do you deal with this? So this person does not say, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. And then you notice it has to take you like double effort to see, okay, this person don't like this thing, or this person resents this thing, which makes the relationship a bit more difficult. How do you handle such situations? Let's deal with that before we can run away. Hopefully this topic will come up another time.
So if I might just approach it from a different perspective, I believe that the question you just asked has a lot to do with emotional boundaries. And the reason why I said it is because most people, as humans, we often gravitate toward people who validate our feelings of hurt or otherwise. Hence, when we experience or share our feelings of hurt, we expect support. However, most people have difficulties sharing their feelings because it doesn't come easy to them due to lack of trust and past experiences. But they would eventually share their feelings, but if it's not validated, then this can be considered emotional, lack of violating their emotional boundaries. So I'm giving you a background just to say that as a result, people will build up a wall and they will shut down most relationship, or spouses will shut down from sharing because they feel like they're not being heard. When they talk to you, it's not validated. What they're sharing with you is not validated. You don't respect it. So as a result, they don't want to share. So I think it's very imperative that as partners, or we're married or not, single or married, that we try to engage our spouses or our significant other in communication, effective and clear communications, that they are able to express themselves, and give them time to process it. Because I'm married to a man that takes his time. When you share something with him, he takes his time to process it, and then he will give you feedback. But sometimes it's just about giving them time to be able to get to where you are.
Mm. Okay, that last sentence nails it for me, because I think that's one of my problems. Waiting for someone to get to where I am. Because I think it's a problem actually for most women. You know, God has given us that seventh sense as women, and most times we see things ahead. And when you start saying it to the man, Sake will respond. He's smiling already. When you start saying these things to the man, he's not seeing what he has seen at that moment. And so you begin to feel kind of frustrated that he's not seeing it. But I am beginning to learn that it is better. I have been learning, not beginning. I'm at 24 years. I've gone far in this thing. I'm learning that it is better to wait for this person to get to where you are. That's the language I like, because you have seen it already, but they have not seen it, and that is where this miscommunication come in. What do you mean? How many years should you wait to get a response? Good question. Somebody's asking us, how many years should you wait to get a response? Okay, tell us. Yeah, man, because it's mostly men that do it.
Okay. Um. Number one. Number one. You see, when we're talking about people understanding things faster, people understanding things slower, people not having the ability to even understand at all, and you on the other hand, you're on the fast lane. The moment you are in bed with them, trust me, you have to remove your wheels, your tires,
I slow
and
down.
forget the fact that you can move.
Chai, chai,
That's the
chai.
number one
Okay.
thing.
Mm,
Because patience always wins this race. This particular one.
mm,
Speed, explanation, argument, definition, not gonna work. You will end up saying things you will regret if you try to explain.
mm.
So the best thing you have to do is to look for how you can look for damage limitation first. Before the person knows anything happening, you're already doing damage limitation, because you
Mm,
can see he cannot even see what you're saying.
mm-hmm.
And the moment you try to force him to see or her to see, you are already even failing totally.
Conflict, conflict. Yeah,
And when there's conflict, you failed already, because you'll not be able to do that thing. You can't
exactly.
accomplish it.
Yeah.
So the best thing is, if you notice that this person is not coming around, you see this person is not processing this stuff, please forget about it. Let them have that understanding themselves. You,
Okay,
on the
Sake,
other
wait,
hand,
wait. I have a follow-up question. I'm sorry. Just the way Samuel has asked us, how many years should you wait to get a response? Like you were saying now, build how would I put it? If this thing is a situation that something is going to go bad, something will spoil, eh? Because
damage limitation is your way
so
out.
if you do damage limitation, will you not also be seen as the person who is like me? I know I get that sometimes. I come across as being controlling, as if I want to control the situation.
That's
I'm not trying to control the
that is
person
my name.
actually.
I'm used to it. I'm
I'm
used to
trying
it.
to it's good for you, you're a man, but I'm a woman. I'm supposed to be submissive, not controlling. Are you getting the picture? So you for a man it might be okay, but for a woman who is supposed to be submissive, how do you control the damage without controlling, being seen as controlling the person? You know, trying to
Simple.
control your man.
Simple. He doesn't know about it.
Ah,
See, there are things you do non-verbal that fixes problem after the problem has been done. So now, for example, you telling your husband or your spouse, do you know, if you bring in a dog into this place, our neighbors will have issues with them. We have issues with animal rights, because our child, our boy that you're saying, he likes kicking animals. You're gonna kick this animal. And he said, no, we are bringing this drug in. We are bringing this dog in. Then he goes and tries to look for a dog to buy. Do you know what I'm going to do? I will try to look for ways in which that dog will not last in that house naturally.
this one one is lesson and topic for another day.
Or I look for how I can frustrate the effort of getting the license to even buy the dog without the
Lobato.
person even knowing.
Auntie Titi, okay, it's okay. Auntie Titi, tell us your own final thoughts on this because our time is on, my friend.
I think that when it comes to, marriage just changes everything. In the marriage is a different ballgame altogether. So if there's no abuse, you know, if there's no abuse in the situation, you are going to wait till forever, you know. And you just have to come up with modalities how to wait till forever, and how to enjoy myself while I'm waiting, you know. The first thing you should do, last week I talked about empathy. Put yourself in the position of the other person. If I was the one that is learning slow, how long do I want to drive house to wait? You know, put yourself. Then the next thing is just the way Sake was talking about, let it go. There are more important things in this life, and allowing, and he did not do that. Consider the other areas as makes you happy, where she makes you happy. Focus on those areas and defy those areas. Everybody will be all right last. And you are talking about you trying to control the situation and everything. Yes, you're actually trying to control the situation. So let it go. If you're going to fall into a ditch, you guys will be all right last, right? So let it go. On your own end, yes, when he was talking about damage limitation, if it's financial, okay, you can save up some money, on your own end, but you cannot control the situation. Allow her to do what he wants to do or what she wants to do. We would be all right last. That's one thing. On those times we want to control. I told you, you see it ahead of time. So I don't like this, don't like this. You are not God. You can't. You just don't have that control. So at the end of the day, apply empathy. No matter what, be happy. Don't allow this other person, be your spouse, be in control of your happy. Be happy any which way. If he says no, I'm not going to agree. Okay, no problem, sir. Until when you agree. Whilst I'm waiting for you to agree, I'm building my own life. I'm being happy. That is the only way to enjoy this thing called marriage.
Oh my goodness. When I tell you how much I love this crew, I love this group. I don't even want to let you guys go because there's so much wisdom coming here. I am learning. I'm learning a lot from this conversation because truthfully, there are a lot of things that I wish I knew now. I would have done things differently, at the early stages of my marriage. They were, how that hymn says, oh, what things we often forfeit, oh, what needless pain we bear. There were a lot of needless pain, unnecessary stress that I went through. Let me talk of myself. I'm confessing. I don't know about another person. A lot of issues that became issues that would not have been issues if I knew some of the things I know. And that's why I keep telling you people, please share the knowledge in this conversation with your friends. Share with your brother, share with your sister. Someone might just be needing to hear one or two things from this platform. Knowledge is power. What you know empowers you. And before you get into the business of marriage, it is important that you get knowledge about it. There are a lot of things that has happened that when I look back now, I laugh at myself. So was it that matter that became this mighty issue? It would have just been a small thing, but either I was trying to control the situation or I was afraid for the result that is going to come out. I want to, and then with all of that, my darling, that fear, we started making some mistakes. So look at it, forgive yourself. Speak out. Please. Don't say, I'm the quiet type. I don't know how to talk. Please speak out your boundaries. If you don't like something, say it that you don't like it. Marriage is not a cage. Marriage is not a prison. Marriage is not a death sentence, and it's not a sentence for sorrow. Say, be
Please
managed.
tell them.
Please come and manage it. It's true. God did not say you
Manage
should
that.
come and manage it. No, enjoy it. It should be heaven on earth. And the only way one of the major ways is to communicate. Say what you like. Say what you don't like. Set boundaries for yourself. Give yourself limits. Make yourself happy. I like that statement that Auntie Titi said. It's not too long that I learned that thing. And let me tell you one thing, when you start making yourself happy, some people start disliking you. Some friends will drop off you. You know those people that you always say yes, 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 that like to use you. Yes, yes, yes. They say jump, you say how high. They say move ahead. Today their child is sick. Tomorrow they want to collect school fees. Financial boundaries. I always say it, if it's not an emergency, why do I need to be running up and down, making my money? You are making your money. Then I have to run up and down to give you money. I will not give you. Some people just like to take advantage of others, forever asking you for money and all those kind of stuff. Have boundaries. As much as we will give, don't give to the detriment of your own immediate family. Now, not chop for house. You they help person for outside. They say now from inside house they find go outside. Nobody's going to give you trophy. Good
If you
man.
want to talk to us directly.
I'm talking
Don't
to
go
you,
and be using
Sake.
corner. Don't go and be using corner to talk to us. Oh, talk to us. Let us know.
Especially those of us in the diaspora, most times people look at us as, oh, they are making this hard currency. Every time some of them just asking for money, asking for money, asking for money. If you go and look, it's not really that they have a need. There's difference between when there's a need to be met and somebody just taking advantage of you. So in every way, emotionally, physically, to be happy, I have come to understand it that you need to draw boundaries. They would misunderstand you at first. They will not like you at first, but you will earn your peace. You will earn a stress-free life. Enjoy yourself. Life is short. Most of always say, I don't like that statement. Don't say life is short. But it's the truth. Eternity is going to be longer. So in this life, make yourself happy. Whatever you can do, even if it's outside that man. Remember, we said it last week. We get married, we are one, but we don't lose our individuality. There are things you like doing. You like hanging out with the boys to go and watch the game. Still go and watch your game. Being married should not stop you. It should not be every day, though. Don't abandon your family and be every day at the bar watching the game. But you know what I mean? Don't overdo anyone. You have your girlfriends. You want to hang out with your girlfriends once in a while. It's okay. You like to shop. You want to shop once in a while. It's okay. You can't be working, making that money, and then putting all into children and husband. And okay. The topic is not going to finish, like I said. Time is never my friend. Let me let you guys go. Thank you so much. Thank you. I think we're going to increase this thing to 2 hours. Don't mind me. Time is never enough. Thank you so much, Favor. Despite your family plan this afternoon, thank you for sticking with us.
It's a pleasure.
Really appreciate it. I don't take it for granted. And you are coming again, very, very, very soon. Thank you to my regulars, my pharmacists, Titi and Sake. Solid Rock, anytime I knock their door, they are always there. God bless you for me. God honor you. May all of our marriages be prosperous. May they be heaven on earth. May the wisdom that we give to others work for us too in Jesus' name. Thank you so much. Thank you, viewers, for joining us. Thank you, Samuel Omoye. I saw a lot of people come on. I can't call all of your names now. Tosi, Shola, Blessing, Obayoje, that's my younger sister, by the way. Naomi, Rikeza, Sarah, all of you have come in. Thank you for your contributions and your questions. Please keep sharing the videos, and even after we've gone off the air, people can still learn from it. I'll come your way again next week. Next week, we are starting another interesting series. It's going to run for 3 weeks. We're talking about love and money. Chelete, ego, pepe. You know what we are talking about? We are going to talk about love and money. We're starting next week until the end of May. Thank you again, my distinguished guests, for your time, and see you again very soon. Have a love-filled week, everyone. God bless you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.